Richard Nweke on Rip and Go. Rich just competed in Shooting Stars Showcase in Bronx, New York. Had a pretty good game. Was named Sportsmanship Award winner of the game. And he's also a Columbia commit. So, Richard, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
How you felt about today's game and today's competition? I know you guys played Blair earlier this year, and this is the second time seeing them. How you feel about matching up with Blair?
I mean, I say it was an okay game. Kind of unfortunate we lost because we let them go way too far. Because we started the second half pretty bad, started the first quarter pretty good, and then we were just like playing catch up the whole second half. They were up by 20, and I think we ended the game like it was a 3-point lead and then 5. I felt like we should have just kept playing hard and limit the live turnovers, just a lot of live turnovers. But in general, I think we're doing good.
Most certainly, man. I think in today's game you had a very shaky and quiet first half, and then in the second half you really were. It seemed a little more calmer and more focused. Can you talk about that? What were the differences and the tales of your first half and your second half?
Yeah, I mean, it's my first game in like 2 weeks. You know, I was a little jittery and kind of hyper, going too fast. And I kind of, I had to settle down for the second half. I had to watch myself, think about what they were doing, how they were playing me, and I used it to my advantage because I calmed down and I played at my own pace.
Got you. As far as strengths to your game that you think you lean on right now, what are your strengths? And then after that, what are your weaknesses that you're trying to build?
Yeah, so my strength definitely is being athletic. I'm a very good rebounder. And, my weaknesses, I say right now, obviously learning to read the game better and trying to pace myself, know when to go fast and know when to go slow.
What's some of your plans that you have as an individual and then as a team for the remainder of the season?
Yeah. As an individual, keep being a leader, be the best leader as it can be, and obviously keep getting better, getting comfortable in the perimeter. And as a team, we just need to keep being positive with ourselves, watch our body language, and just always need to start the game hard. Simple things, the little simple things. Just start the game hard.
Do you have any way you want to conclude your season? Any type of titles you're trying to take or anything like that?
Yeah, basically just trying to win a championship. Because my school, obviously, NMH is very historical for the championship they've won and everything. They're known to be one of the best. They want to just keep the tradition going.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we're here with Coach Mike Shelton. Head coach of NorthField Hermon, just had a really tough battle. We're going to sit here and ask Coach Mike some questions for Rip and Go. Coach, how you felt about today's event and the competition you faced? I know you guys faced Blair once this season. How you felt about today's action?
Yeah, so Green put on a great event. Shooting Star Showcase has been great. First class ran organization and event today, so we were really lucky to come down and participate. Obviously, when I was putting our schedule together, I knew that we were going to play Blair the National Prep Showcase to start our season, and I wanted to go ahead and add this to our schedule to kind of give us a barometer of where we're at after break. We knew there were going to be a tough test. They have a really talented team, and Joe's obviously a world-class coach, and my goal is always for us to play the best. So when I had this opportunity to add this game, that's the reason why I did it.
Oh, certainly. I know you said you've only been the head coach at NorthField for a season. Well, this being your first season, how honored do you feel to be the head coach at such a prestigious high school, one? And two, how tall of a task is it being head coach of NorthField?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I'm super honored to follow in the footsteps of another legendary coach, JC, at NorthField. It's definitely the pinnacle of my coaching prep career. I really worked my way up. I've been doing it for a long time. This is my 10th year doing it, and so very blessed and honored to be at NorthField. Obviously, we're a class organization when it comes to academics and basketball, and so that's basically what we represent. We want all the best athletes that really focus on not only being the best version of themselves on the court, but also in the classroom. In terms of how tall of a task it's been, I didn't have any players really when I took over the programs, and I started late. So, we had to recruit 12 kids, in a very short amount of time. I think I had like a month window before the June Prep Showcase.
Right.
And
you can't take everybody because of the academics.
Exactly. The academics, financially, you know what I'm saying? We can't fund everybody at NorthField like some of our competition can. So, it was really hard knowing that the recruiting cycle had already finished. Who left was on the table in terms of available players for me to try to get to be able to compete at the level that we need to compete at. So it's been a tall task. We put together a group of guys that we feel like we can compete versus teams like Blair that have 4 or 5 Division I guys on the floor. And, we have one kid that's committed, which is Rich, and everybody else is kind of looking for an opportunity. So, given the constraints that I've had, I feel like we've put together a team that can at least be competitive in all these really tough, high-level games.
Most certainly. Speaking of your roster, I want to ask you, is there any player or any players in particular on your roster that you don't think get the acclaim or recognition? Maybe the box score isn't as sexy, but man, this dude really helps me get some wins, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you mind talking about some of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, the first person that comes to mind is Walker Andrews, 34, I believe his number is. He's a kid from Virginia. He played at Virginia Episcopal, and he scored 2,000 points in high school coming to us as a post-grad. He could really shoot it. He had 26 versus Putnam Science, 23 versus Worcester Academy, which are obviously 2 really tough teams. He's a very good kid. He does fill the score up, the stat sheet up, but not many people know about him. So I think he's somebody that you definitely need to put on the radar. Another guy that we need to put on the radar is Dre Roman from California. He's had a little bit of sickness and some injuries this first half, but he played much better today, played more like himself. So I think he's somebody that, again, is not that guy that's going to put up a lot of points like Walker, but he plays defense, he rebounds, he's long, he can play multiple positions, he can make a three. He's really good getting downhill, which you need to do a little bit better of a job today. But Dre's a really good kid and a really good player with his size. He has a Division I ready frame. And the last kid I'll talk about is Matt Gray. He's a 6'7" kid out of Virginia also. Had a lot of offers. Matt's had a really good season for us. Has helped us win a lot of games. He's very talented. He plays the 3 for us, / the 2, but can also bring the ball up in a transition situation and a bust-out dribble.
He's a post-grad as well?
He's a post-grad as well, yeah. So we've got a really post-grad heavy team, but, Matt is a really good player. He's an evolving shooter, which is, I think, the thing that the Division I teams were talking about for him. He made at least 1 or 2 today.
Right.
And again, that's something that he's trying to create as being one of his weapons in his bag. And I think he's done a good job. He's worked really hard at doing that.
Absolutely. Now, I would say the monkey in the room, the unspoken monkey in the room, for lack of a better term, being a black head coach at such an academic, prestigious institution. Let's face it, academics isn't necessarily pushed that much in the grand scheme of our African American culture. So, how do you feel being an African American? And perpetuating academics, and you've actually got a few African Americans on your roster, and obviously they would have to be bright individuals to get into your school. So, can you talk about that and what that feels like being in that kind of position and promoting academics, to your culture?
That's a great question. Honestly, that's probably the biggest thing for me. That's the most important thing for me, is having this platform, having this opportunity, and then opening the door for people in our community and culture to have the opportunity to be in a place like NorthField Hermon and use it for all of these resources that we oftentimes get overlooked. People in our community, whether they feel like they can't do the grades or can't make it in this type of predominantly white institution, it's like I seek out those type of kids to give them the opportunity to put themselves in a place where they can better themselves for the 40 years, not just the 40 years in college. So, that's really been my calling card as I've gotten to this area in prep school. I was an assistant coach in college, but you really don't get an opportunity to really do that.
Right.
But at this point, when I'm a head coach and have the opportunity to open these doors for our kids in our community, I think that's my main thing that I'm trying to accomplish, to give these kids access, right, to other kids from higher up echelons in terms of financially and stuff like that have the access to these things that NorthField can provide. I'm really trying to be able to open those doors for our kids in our community so they can use those resources to, again, like I said, better themselves for the rest of their life.
I think that's beautiful and honorable, Coach Shelton. Malcolm, Martin, Huey, they'd all be proud of you as well, man. So appreciate that, and God bless, man. That's Coach Mike Shelton, Rip and Go.